the biggest first date mistakes that I see. This is Radical Self-Respect with Jared Mello, where I help people learn how to no longer be manipulated, how to not take any BS, and of course how to practice radical self-respect. But I want to get into the biggest first date issue that I see. And as a man, I'm going to talk about this from a man's perspective. But the biggest thing that I see is it's a battle that's lost in the mind. In The Art of War, Sun Tzu said, all of the battles, the first battle is in the mind. And if we lose that battle, we are more likely to lose the war. Now, what battle am I talking about with men here? And ultimately, it's all about frame, is ultimately what this is all about. And there's a right frame to have, and then there's a wrong frame to have. And the wrong frame, I'm going to explain what that looks like, because those are the biggest first date mistakes. And it's something along these lines. Putting yourself into a position where you're seeking the woman's approval and you want her to like you. And what does this look like? It looks like you being a little too reactive to her tone of voice and to her mood. And if you allow those things to push you off of your center, a woman notices that. And part of this is what artistes would call a crap test, right? A crap test is a subconscious examination of a man's grace under pressure. And women subconsciously do these things sometimes. But the results and how a man responds is everything. So to reiterate, the things I see are, it's when you're worried a little bit too much if the woman's going to like you, and you become a little more reactive to her tone of voice, to her moods, or if she disagrees with you in some manner. And if she notices you get pushed off of your emotional center and you try to get back into her good graces, strike. Strike, strike, strike. Don't do that. So what's the antidote to this? And as corny as it may sound, part of the antidote is the terrible advice, be yourself. But be yourself is not sufficient. What they really mean is own everything about yourself, your likes and your dislikes. Have strong frame. That's really what it would mean. If they wanted to give you a good suggestion, that's what they would say. Have strong frame. Own everything about yourself. So what does that look like? It's remembering we're vetting the woman too. It's not just her looking at us and vetting us. We should be vetting her, thinking to ourselves, do we even like this woman? And how do we do that? Well, we just talk and banter like we normally would with our friends. We do it and we talk about topics and issues we would normally talk about. We don't try to twist or contort ourselves so that another woman will like us. These are the biggest issues that I see men have on the first date. The twisting and the contorting. And ultimately that's weak. And when a guy does that, he's twisting and contorting himself into the woman's frame, failing the crap test, being too reactive, and being pushed off of his emotional center. Now, for the people who might not understand nuance, this does not mean just say whatever you want and be rude and be ignorant to social calibration and be ignorant to the rules of social graces. No, I am not saying that. I'm just saying own everything about yourself. And a good benchmark for this is even what someone thinks about Trump, right? Now, a guy who likes Trump, what will happen to him? If he's going to be twisting and contorting himself into his woman's frame, he might not talk about Trump at first, right? He might be a little worried about what the woman will think of him, that he likes Trump. But the man who owns everything about himself would say, you know what? If she doesn't like Trump and I like Trump, I know sooner or later this isn't going to work if she's not on the same page with that, so I may as well just own who I am. And that's it. Now, how guys may get themselves in trouble with this is they might think, well, I just want to sleep with this girl, so I'll put that on the back burner. And I've spoken about many times in this channel When we put anything over practicing radical self-respect, we're setting ourselves up for failure, especially when that something we put over radical self-respect is sex. So I would say, own it, because if she doesn't like you in the first date, chances are it's not going to work anyway. So own everything about yourself. Have a strong frame. Vet the woman. Think, do I even like this woman? Because you better believe, like I said, she is vetting us 100%. And do not let ourselves get too knocked off of our emotional center when they disagree, when maybe they have a tone of voice, or maybe they're being a little moody. Remember, they are all just crap tests. And the way to handle them is the pickup techniques, right? The agree and amplify, amuse mastery, those kinds of things. But whatever we do, we gotta be playful and not pushed off of our emotional center. Again, not because we want her to like us, just because that's part of being the best version of ourselves and owning who we are. So part of the game here is being the best version of ourselves at all times, having strong frame at all times, owning who we are at all times, not being pushed off of our emotional center at all times, remaining grounded. These are all the things that, if we're not practicing them in our day-to-day, it's going to be very difficult to put on that mask for a date. And I would argue we shouldn't even be trying to do that anyway. So remember, to reiterate, do not enter the woman's frame. Do not catch yourself trying to contort yourself to someone that you think she may like. Do not be too sensitive to her tone of voice, to her disagreeing with you, to her being a little bit moody. Those are all crap tests. Remember, we got to have grace under those things, and we need to be vetting her as well. And we got to remain emotionally centered. And women have a sixth sense for being able to pick up on when a guy is not emotionally centered. And again, the way to do this really is to live this. It doesn't really work if we just wear it as a mask. When we finally see a girl and we're on a date, we wear the mask. That doesn't work too good. We got to be it. We got to integrate this stuff into our being. So there's my video for today. Please like the video if you did indeed like it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And send this video to a guy that you think could benefit from seeing it. Thank you for watching.